G'day and welcome to the South African lawn. Alright, Mensa. So the putting green looks a little bit more like a normal lawn currently. As you can see, a lot of dew, but even more obvious is the length, the height of this grass is absolutely outrageous. It's probably around 10, 12, 13 mil. I'm not 100% sure, but it's very overgrown for a couple of reasons. Well, only one reason. I didn't mow. Oh, there's another reason. The plant growth regulator has worked itself out of this situation here a little bit. I've probably not applied over the last, when was the last application? Probably about 3 weeks ago. And with all this rain and my regular fertilizing, it's now like worked off the plant growth regulator, and now it's growing vigorously. So it's overgrown here, Owens. So we need to have a little bit of a plan of attack here to get this thing back to standard. Putting and chipping standard. All right. Okay, so here I've got the mower, and now I'm going to mow this putting green, even with a catcher, to see how much clippings we have, and also not to flip and smother the thing with clippings. So I'm going to set the height of cut to approximately the same. Maybe I should go a little bit higher, but whatever. We'll talk about the plan of attack now. But for the last 5, I think it's 6 days, I haven't mowed my putting green. I try to mow it at least 3 times a week. So that should give us almost every second day. And this last week just didn't go according to plan. So I neglected to mow it for about 3 days, and then I went away for the entire weekend. And things got out of hand here. So I'm going to set this mower. Let's just set it to the normal 5 millimeters. And see what happens, okay? Because there's 2 plans of attack. If you let your putting green get overgrown, there's 2 things, in my opinion, that you can do to rectify your little oopsie daisy here. Okay, the first thing is you just hack it back, because just being 5 days, we shouldn't have too much stalk growth here. So if we didn't completely scalp it, then we are still okay. We can continue mowing as per usual. If not, there's another thing that we can do. We can raise the height of cut a little bit and then just sand 2 or 3 mils to cover that stalk again and let the leaf blade do the job here of the putting green. You understand? But I think the first thing, I don't think 5 days personally, honestly speaking, I don't think 5 days, 6 days is too much. I think we can just hack it back and see what happens. Worst case scenario, we'll have to put a thin layer of sand over this, you know, as a lacquer top dress to bring the soil level up rather than bringing the leaf blade level down. All right. Okay, so right here I've got my height of cut bar, and the way that you adjust your height on this, I really recommend building something like this. I don't know if there's something available at the mower shops like this, but I haven't seen it. So the one subscriber sent me this, old Gregory. So what you do is you loosen the nut here at the bottom, and then you can set it to whichever height you want, you know, so whether it's 15 mil, or in my case here, I'm going to raise it a little bit. I'm going to go to 6 mil and see where we're at. So it's somewhere there. Then it's not even necessary to tighten now, but then you take your tape measure and then you measure the distance from this blade or this bar here to your nut right there. So let's see what that is. So I just keep it to the nearest 10 mil and then measure up from there. So as you can see, we are almost exactly at 6 mil there. I'm looking on the camera now. That looks almost like, that is almost bang on. That's maybe 6.5. Bring it down a little bit and then tighten it so we get a more accurate measurement. That looks like, that is bang on 6 mil. And now what we do is we measure from the front to the rear roller. We put this flat bar, got to make sure this thing is 100% flat, and then set the bottom blade to that height. And we should, in theory, have a 6 mil cut or whatever you've set this thing to. Okay, so it's a little bit low, then we just adjust it back until this bar sits nice and tight. Still a little bit loose. So I just want to show you, it sits flat against the rear roller, flat against the front roller, and then I just tighten until this bar no longer has play here. So I click it into the blade right there. Excuse the mower, it's quite dirty. Wash it after this mow. There we go. That should give us a Nice and accurate 6 more mow. Okay, so just before I chop off everything, let me just illustrate to you how slow this thing really is. Have a look here. It's like a poor golf course's fairways. There's just no roll. Yeah, so to be 100% honest with you, it's not as bad as I thought. I didn't actually think it was going to be so bad because 5 or 6 days isn't that long, you know. 1 week isn't the end of the world. You should really just keep up with plant growth regulator. You can see, however, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, some stalks yellowing a little bit. Let me see if I can get the correct angle here. So like some stalks yellowing a little bit, which is like was shadowed underneath, and that's the parts that normally stalk up a little bit. So I'm even going to take the chance and set this mower 1 millimeter lower, and then go for another pass at the old height. However, a couple of stragglers which I don't normally see, I think just because of the pure length of the blade, so not all being taken up on the first go, but just have a look at how many clippings I removed, Joe Owens. Just look there. That is way too much for a 18, 19, 20 square meter putting green. And you can even see the length of the leaf blades here are quite enormous. They're normally far more tiny than that. I'm probably cutting off almost a centimeter. Now that's 5 more. I'm going to go down to 5 more. It should be 1 or 2 turns back. Oh, that's almost bang on. Just tighten it a bit. There we go. Yeah, so if you've got a cylinder mower, and especially a Honda engine like the one I've got here, if you lie it back, be sure to leave it upright for 2 or 3 minutes after you did that. Because here's kind of like a, I don't know what this is, it's like a chamber there, and inside there's valves and whatnot. And oil can run into this thing right here. If you start it up too quickly, it could suck that oil into your actual cylinder, and it could like create some damage for you. So be sure to leave it upright so that oil, if it had run through there, please don't leave it for long periods of time on its back. If it had run in there, leave it upright for 2 or 3 minutes so that it can run through that breather hole, whatever, I don't know. Ask the experts to explain this to you. Only thing I know is don't leave it for extended periods of time on its back and over like whatever, pitch it backwards, and leave it upright so it can drain back. Another thing I want to talk about is this area right here. So about 2 weeks back, we had a hot spell, and just in the beginning of that hot spell, what I did was I spiked this area, which was looking bad, which is now looking great, and that area, that more aggressive, and I treated only that area with compost. However, what I did was I didn't water this area more than the rest of the green, and that dried out a bit, and I hurt this area even more than it was hurt, if that makes sense. So if you do a renovation, do it with the flipping entire area, because you have to treat this area like a renovated area. You can't just now, you know, so I kind of forgot about the little renovation there. So yeah, but it is coming back now. It is growing vigorous. But as you can see, I haven't even cut this area properly because I'm too scared to turn a lot here. So yeah, let's go mowing at 5 more. now it's looking a little bit more like a putting green again. A lot less stragglers. I went over this area 3 times, and I'll just show you by illustrating with a rolling test here how much more of a putting green this is now. Oh, it takes time for that ball to stop, which means it's fairly quick. I don't know how quick it is, but it is looking. Let me roll it from the side, Joe, then you can see maybe a little bit better. Wow, not bad. It's probably not the best it's ever been, but yeah, looking a lot better and definitely putt and chippable. So that front and rear roller, or that heavy machine, really makes for quite a flat, even though if the leaf blades are a little bit longer, 5 or 6 mils, it really makes for quite a puttable and usable green, because for the next 4 or 5 hours, I will have a flattish lawn. The shorter the leaf blades are, the longer that period is. But if you are mowing at 6 or 7 mils, which is quite respectable, but that mower pushes that leaves flat. So it just decreases the time that you have a fast green for, if that makes sense. So if you've got a shorter leaf blade at about 4 mils, you'll have a faster green for longer, maybe 24 hours. Whereas if the sun hits this thing and it's 7 mils long, it'll stand up a little bit earlier. But it's just easier to maintain at 6 or 7 mils. However, this is at 5 mil now, so I'll probably sit with the usable green for a good half of the day, and then it's even respectable after that. Just look how true this thing rolls just after the cut. It's really quite nice, I must say. So very impressed, guys. I don't think it's necessary for a top dress, even though I am like top dressing quite frequently, and not as frequent as I wanted to. I first want to create a bit of a carpet, because it felt like I was thinning it out by chucking sand over it all the time. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. One thing that I have to add is I'll probably have to renovate this oakie. It's not as bad now, because it's still a youngish green. It's probably only 9 months old, but I'll have to do renovations or just light treatments maybe 3 times a year, which is really not the end of the world, because it's such a small area. Honestly, if I have to spike this without spiking shoes, it probably takes me 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So it's not like I've got hours and hours of labor to do. Even if I work here with my core aerator, I can't see it taking more than half an hour, you know, maybe 2 hours for a complete renovation. And that's with a coke in between. So yeah, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. I'll show you some close-ups of the leaf blades right now. But thank you so much for watching. It's looking awesome. That's a 5 mil mow on my creeping bent grass putting green. So I've only got the corners that's struggling, and there we've almost 100% recovered. So I've only got that corner that still needs to recover. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did so, be sure to like this video. It really helps it rank up in YouTube. If you've got any questions about the green, about kikuyu, about autumn, you know, maintenance practices, please shoot it in the comment section below, or send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll try and reply as quick as possible. And if you feel that these videos earn your subscription, please consider subscribing. It really helps this channel to grow and help me be motivated to do more of these videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now.